Floyd Mayweather is set to make an estimated $100 million from his fight with Logan Paul, cementing his position as one of the highest paid athletes in history.
I can guarantee you this. June 6th, you will get knocked out.
Logan Paul, on the other hand, is set to make $20 million, a fifth of what Mayweather gets, but still.
Floyd the king of cat, bro. You the king of cat. You ain't a boxer anymore, champ. You're right. You're tired. You old.
100 mil, 20 mil for just 18 minutes in the ring? I don't know about you, but that kind of money in exchange for 18 minutes in the ring with some possible brain damage? I don't know. I would probably take that deal. Floyd and Logan aren't alone though. George Foreman sits as the second richest boxer in history at an estimated net worth of $300 million from 76 wins and 5 losses. Followed by Manny Pacquiao at number 3 with an estimated $220 million at 62 wins, 7 draws, and 2 losses. Oscar De La Hoya at $200 million with 39 wins and 6 losses. And Lennox Lewis at $140 million with 41 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. The question is, where does all this money come from? This is the economics of one of the most interesting sports businesses out there. Boxing. After watching this video, you're probably gonna want to keep up with all the drama of the Mayweather-Logan Paul fight and of all the future fights and drama to come. So you're gonna have to switch to Twitter to see what they're trash talking over there, then switch to Instagram to do the same thing, then maybe TikTok. It's a mess. If only there was a place where all the best content from all these fragmented social media platforms could be curated so you don't have to constantly switch between apps. Enter Faves, a brand new free app that's sponsoring this video where you can find the best YouTube videos, Instagram posts, tweets, TikToks, and more all in one place. On there, you can share your favorite content from any app and build a big following around your tastes. There's already all kinds of badass people posting their favorite content to Faves, including the heads of product at TikTok, Robinhood, and Google, venture capitalists from Sequoia, A16Z, and Lightspeed, best-selling authors like the author of Hooked, tech icons like Marissa Mayer, and also myself. You can see what they're reading, watching, and scrolling through so you can consume content like the best, which I really like. And here's the coolest part. Since the app is in its early phases, you get to have direct conversations with all these badass leaders before everyone else floods in. More than 20,000 people, yes you heard that right, 20,000 people have signed up for the app's waitlist. But lucky for you, I brokered a deal with their team and they're gonna let you guys have early access. All you have to do to skip the waitlist is click the link below in the video description. The first 5,000 of you to sign up will get to skip the line and get access to Faves within just 24 hours. So don't wait, pause the video, click the link below, and reserve your spot now. At its most basic level, you have a boxing match, the Mayweather Paul fight, and each fight has a prize money pool that both fighters get a cut of no matter who wins. This means as long as you step in the ring and fight, no matter if you lose, get knocked out, or have a draw, you get a portion of that prize money. That's why pro boxing is also called prize fighting. That prize money is also called the purse. So whenever you hear people talking about a $100 million purse or a $500 million purse, all that means is that's the amount of prize money on the table for a boxing match. For the infamous Floyd Mayweather vs Manny Pacquiao fight back in 2015, that purse was reportedly $500 million. Mayweather got 60% of that purse or $300 million, and Pacquiao walked away with $200 million. In the case of the Mayweather-Paul fight, the purse is an estimated $100 million. But in this case, Mayweather gets not 60% of that purse, but 80% or $80 million, while Logan Paul only gets to walk away with $20 million. Why the uneven split? Both of them are stepping in the ring and risking their lives. It's simple. It's because the prize money is made up of how many people buy the pay-per-view show, ticket sales, and other broadcasts. For example, with the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, here's how the purse broke down. 69% came from pay-per-view sales, 17% from tickets, 8% and 3% from other broadcasts, and 3% from other revenue streams. Meaning that the fighter with the most notoriety, with the bigger fan base, with the greater influence is gonna contribute more to the prize money. They're able to drive more sales. So therefore, they're able to negotiate a bigger cut. That's why Mayweather was able to get 60% of the pie with Pacquiao, and why even with Logan Paul's giant audience, Mayweather was able to secure a whopping 80% of that purse. Logan Paul has only had 2 fights, one ending in a loss and another in a draw. He's going into Mayweather's turf, so Mayweather has all the leverage. On top of the purse money, fighters also make money on the back end with things like merch sales, sponsorships for the fight, and more. That's why Mayweather is projected to bring home $100 million from the Logan Paul fight. $80 million comes from the purse, and $20 million from his back-end businesses like the Money Team merch. Because how much money boxers make completely depends on the numbers they pull for the fight, that's why there's so much trash talking in boxing.
I know what he did to Japan, so guess what? You have to pay for what you did to Japan.
Bro, I know what you did to your wife.
Oh!
Why are you making this about race?
Because it's always about race. I'm going to stand strong for what I believe in.
I'm with your race.
Are you nervous, Floyd? This wind is picking up. A strong gust of wind could blow your little ass over.
The first rumblings of a Mayweather-Pacquiao fight was way back in 2010. Fans were pumped the fight of the century is gonna happen this year. And yet it took a whole 5 years of trash talking, going back and forth, negotiating the prize money split before the fight actually happened in 2015. Why? You gotta build up the hype, build up the tension and drama. Because the more hype, the more pay-per-view sales, the more ticket sales, and the bigger the purse.
Do the math. When Floyd came to the post-press conference, they gave him his first check of $120 million to Floyd Mayweather at 60% of $200 million. Manny Pacquiao got $80 million at his 40% of $200 million. Manny did good. Manny walked away with $100+ million in his pocket. Floyd walked away with probably, I think, a little over $300 million. Damn near $500 million, or $500 million, almost $500 million he walked away with. That's how the boxing game goes. Boxing business 101. Bud must start talking more trash, building his followers up, selling out the gate.
In the business of boxing, everything leading up to the fight is theater. Both fighters have to do their part to make the fight marketable, which usually consists of a lot of trash talking and drama.
I'm my own boy.
One night, got your hat.
Floyd's a big fucking
Logan, that ain't gonna go very well for you.
Ooh.
I would still have no faith that you could beat up Floyd Mayweather.
Is this fight bad for boxing?
I think it is. I don't like it.
But one thing we do, we kick ass. That's one thing I do.
Yeah, we do.
We kick ass. That's one thing that we do.
So trash talk your way to a giant purse, then walk home with $100 million, right? Well, not so fast, because once you get your giant payday, there's a lot of hands you have to feed. As a football star in the NFL, your life is a lot easier. You work as an employee to the NFL, the richest sports league in the world, and as a W-2 employee, you get fat paychecks every 2 weeks, you get benefits, but as a boxer, you are literally your own business. You get paid as an independent contractor per fight, no regular paychecks, you aren't employed by any of the boxing event promoters. If you don't fight, you don't get paid, which means that you have to pay for everything yourself. Your manager, your trainer, anyone else on your team, training expenses, travel expenses, you have to file taxes as a business, you have to set up your own merch, your own sponsors. Basically, fighting is the easy part. Here's how it works. First, you have your manager. Managers are the middlemen between the fight promoters and boxers. Basically, your manager's job is to guide you through your career. Promoters offer fights to you, and your manager's job is to say yes or no to which fights you take on. Ideally, they should only choose fights that you have a good chance of winning. If they match you up with a bunch of people that are bigger than you, stronger than you, and you lose, 1 is gonna hurt your win-loss record, 2 is gonna discourage you and hurt your confidence, and 3, you can only take so much head trauma and brain damage. The life cycle of a fighter is short. There are only so many fights you can take on, every fight matters. So you have to make sure whoever you have in your corner has your back. Then there are the promoters. These are the guys that put together the fights, choose the opponents, set up the venue, set up the TV deals, deal with all the personalities involved, and help hype the show. If you have 5 fights in one show, your job is to fill those slots with fights fans will enjoy. Basically, it's an extremely high-risk, high-return job. Promoters want to put on the best, most entertaining fights, while managers want to put their fighters in the safest, most surefire fights to get more wins under their belt. So after a fight is over, the promoter of the fight pays you, the fighter, your cut of the prize money, minus a 25% fee. So already your prize money is down 25%, and then you pay your team. Your manager takes a very big cut compared to other sports, anywhere from 15 to 33%. Your trainer takes another 10 to 15%. Your cut man, the guy who helps treat the cuts on your face mid-fight so you don't get disqualified for health concerns, he can get up to 2%. Add in the daily rate for 2 sparring partners, food, travel, hotel, and it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for you to be left with just 30% of your prize money. So if a fight gets you $10, you end up keeping just $3. And then you have to pay taxes to Uncle Sam. For a brand new fighter starting from the bottom with no amateur experience, you'll probably get around $1,000 per fight starting out. As you move up, you'll maybe get to walk away with $35 to $60K per fight. It's only when you get near the very top that 30% starts to really add up. And all this together, the fact that as a boxer you're really running a business, and all the expenses that come with that, is why people say 90% of boxers die broke.
You have to have kind of a fighter mentality and a business mentality because 90% of boxers go broke, which is sad.
90%.
90%.
Wow.
Because even if you do end up being one of the few that makes a lot of money, being good at boxing and getting paid for it is one thing. Keeping your wealth, preserving your wealth, being a good businessman is an entirely different game. One requires taking risks, getting in the ring, making a name for yourself. The other requires caution and a healthy dose of paranoia, not blowing all your money on cars and rollies right away.
These young fighters want to buy, they see Floyd Mayweather with all the watches, all the diamond chains, all the cars. They have to invest their money. And that's what I try to teach them. You know, Floyd Mayweather is able to buy a diamond chain, car, a house every month from smart investments.
But you know who are really good businessmen? Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul. Fans want to see the most dangerous, exciting fights, but Mayweather realized that it was in his best interest to take on the least riskiest fights. Why risk your life, your health, your reputation when you don't have to? And that's exactly what he did. When the idea of Mayweather fighting Pacquiao first came up in 2010, Pacquiao was in his prime. So instead of going up against Pacquiao in his prime, Floyd waited 5 years for him to age a little, get a little worn down, build up more and more hype to increase that prize money, and then he fought a more tamed version of Pacquiao 5 years later and walked away with $100 million. And when Conor McGregor came along, Mayweather realized that he doesn't even have to fight boxers to make $100 million. A typical world title boxing match makes him around 30 mil. A match like this, 100 mil. So why get in the ring with someone who's trained their whole life to box you for a measly 30 mil when you can fight someone who isn't even trained with more notoriety for 100 mil? You would take the latter option every single time. As Floyd calls it, it's a legalized bank robbery.
If it's something easy like this, a legalized bank robbery, I gotta do it.
Now he's making hundreds of millions of dollars fighting amateurs. That's a great business model, which is where Logan Paul comes in. Like we mentioned earlier, most fighters have to climb the ranks to maybe get to a $20 million payday. But when Logan lacks in experience and wins, he makes up for it with an audience of over 20 million fans. And that's exactly what a great, profitable boxing match needs. Not necessarily just skill, but personalities people care about.
They need to know the characters involved to be interested, and they have to believe that there's an interesting obstacle in the way.
And the great thing is, if he loses, nothing happens. It's what everyone expects. He walks away $20 million richer. But if he wins, it will be the biggest boxing upset of the century.
What happens if I win? You know, the world axis stands still. Time stops. It's the genesis. It's the greatest upset in the history of combat sports. What happens if I lose? Nothing. Life goes on.
Guys, don't forget to check out the new app Faves. You can follow me on there at Jake Trent, and it's pretty cool. You can check it out with the link below. What did you guys think about the business of boxing? I definitely didn't think that there was this much to it when I first started researching, so it was pretty cool to learn. If you are new here, we make business video essays just like this one every single week on the most thought-provoking and provocative stuff in the world of business, from the business of OnlyFans to why Chinese billionaires keep disappearing to the business of fine art. So if you enjoyed this one, you're definitely going to enjoy the other ones on the channel that you can check out, and you can subscribe for more video essays just like this one every single week. Shout out to King Lumos for following me on Instagram. I'm following back one person every single week at JakeTrend.io. That's gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome. I've been Jake. Stay dangerous out there, and I will see you guys in the next one.